Today we're going to be talking about some of my favourite hanging plants, and I really have an obsession with trailing houseplants. I remember when I first started collecting plants, I kind of didn't have many of them, but now I have quite a few, so I'm just going to be sharing a few of my favourites today. And we're starting with this one. This is the Black Pagoda lipstick plant, and it really is one of my favourite plants. It's so beautiful. This one actually is flowering at the moment, but they haven't opened up yet. They're just kind of coming out as buds, so I can't really show you what the flowers look like. But this plant, I think I've had I definitely bought it last year. It's a really easy to care for plant, quite a fast grower too, and I think this one needs watering because it's looking a bit droopy. But it's quite resilient when it comes to watering if you leave it a little bit too long, I find. But it's quite a fast grower, this one, and it has some really unique kind of markings on it too, almost like leopard print or something like that. And this was the first lipstick plant that I bought. I did recently buy another one, which I will show you in a bit, but this one in particular, I think I bought this from Dobby's. Sounds about right, and I just love the shapes of the leaves. It's a really fun plant to grow, and I actually find that this one propagates really well too. I've propagated a little bit from this one and it propagates pretty well. It's a really nice full trailing plant, and of course the more light you give it, the faster it will grow. I'd say mine is in a sort of a medium light situation at the moment, so it is quite adaptable to different lighting situations. But yeah, I definitely highly recommend this one. It is really easy to look after as well, so definitely one of those low maintenance house plants. Next up is the Syngonium Red Arrow, and I absolutely love this plant. It has dark, glossy, beautiful leaves, and it really stands out against the rest of my houseplant collection because a lot of the plants I have are a bit more of a lighter green, so this one just provides a bit of interest. And it also has burgundy backs of the leaves too, which I think is really beautiful. And even though I haven't really had this plant long, I've found it to be a really fast grower. It surprised me quite a bit. I mean, some syngoniums grow faster than others, so it's not a done deal that all syngoniums will be fast growers, but this one definitely very fast, and it's fast getting too heavy for its pot too, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I can either leave it as a trailing plant, or you can of course grow this as a climbing plant too. I might take a few cuttings next year and have a bit of both, because I do really like this one trailing, but I think I'd quite like to try it as a climbing plant too. It has quite a lot of vines coming out of the back there too. It's a really pretty syngonium. Quite an uncommon one, I have to say. You don't tend to see it around that much, but definitely go for it if you are wondering, because it really is a stunning plant and definitely easy to care for too. It's got slightly thicker leaves than a lot of other syngoniums. I'm just looking now to check for pests. I can't help it, it's just a habit whenever I'm handling a plant. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this one will do next year, whether it will grow a lot more, and we'll see what happens. Next up is this huge Philodendron Brazil, and I'm not sure I can show you all of it in shot, but it is so long, this one. It really is huge, and it goes without saying this is a very fast grower. And yeah, it's definitely got to the point now where even on my tallest shelf it's getting a bit much, so I have to give it a little bit of a haircut next year, I think. It's about as long as me, so I guess that makes it about 5 feet in length, and yeah, it's getting a bit out of control at this point. So as I say, I definitely will have to give it a trim. But if you want a fast growing trailing plant, Philodendron Brazil is definitely the one for you. And it's a great plant for sharing too, because it does grow so fast. You can take cuttings, give them to your family and friends, which is one of the really nice parts about having houseplants. I have to keep swapping sides with this one because honestly it's so heavy. It's in quite a heavy pot now. I did have it in a slightly lighter pot, but the whole thing fell off the shelf and soil just went everywhere. And it was quite the cleanup operation. So now I have it in a really heavy pot so that it definitely does not fall, because yeah, it was a bit of a cleanup operation. That soil went absolutely everywhere. But yeah, I'd say this is definitely top of my favourite list when it comes to trailing plants. It's definitely one that will get out of hand very, very quickly, so you will have to either trim it as you go along, or you can just find somewhere with a really tall shelf to hang it from. This is the variegated lipstick plant that I mentioned before, and this one has some really pretty variegation on it. And this is just as easy to care for as the other lipstick plant that I showed you before. As you can see, they come in a lot of varieties, and there are loads of interesting ones that I really want to add to my collection. In fact, I've kind of got the bug for lipstick plants now, finding out how easy they are, and also each one tends to be different to the next. It's kind of made me want to collect them all. So be aware, if you do get one, you'll probably want more than one. But what I love about this one is it has kind of purple tones in it as well, which are really, really pretty. And I haven't had this one for too long, but you can see how much growth is there. It really is quite a fast grower, same as the other one. And I currently keep this one in my kitchen window because it gets really good light in there, and this one seems to really love it there. But I absolutely love this plant. I think it's probably one of my, not just one of my favourite trailing plants, but just one of my favourite plants in general. So I definitely highly recommend this one if you were considering it. It's a really cool plant, and yeah, really low maintenance too. Next one is this one. This is the purple passion plant, and this is a vining plant, so it does eventually become a hanging plant. Usually you buy them quite small and then they kind of grow, but once the vine reaches about a foot in length, it then starts to trail. It starts off as an upright plant, and then yeah, it trails as it gets bigger. But I just love this one. The purple colours in it are so beautiful, and I really am a sucker for purple plants. This one actually gets its purple colour from the hairs on the leaves. So the leaves are actually green, but then you've got little purple hairs, and it definitely shows up more in higher light. So as the plant moves, you'll kind of see more or less purple based on how much light it's getting. But I absolutely love this one, and it's a really fast grower too, so definitely give it lots of light though, because if you do, it will grow nice and fast. I also tend to find with this one that it really likes to be repotted. If I don't give it a repot when it wants one, it has a tendency to slow down its growth even in the growing season, so that's definitely something to be aware of. Next up is this one. This is another of my all-time favourites. This is a Dishidia. It's called Dishidia platyphylla, and this one grows much faster than I thought it would. Dishidias are actually related to Hoyas, and yeah, this one has quite thick leaves, just like a Hoya. And if I try and get it all in, it's grown so much this growing season. It has some really long vines, and this is another one that I keep in my bathroom. It really seems to enjoy it in there, and it's just a really fun plant. It is actually a shingling plant, so officially I think it prefers to grow up a plank or something like that, but You can also grow it as a trailing plant, and I really like it as a trailing plant, so I will definitely be keeping mine like this. But you can see how the leaves are kind of curled up. It looks a bit like maybe it's asking for water, but that's how they are all the time. That's just how the plant is. And I think that's the really fun thing about this one. It's a little bit different and it really does look good hanging off a shelf. I absolutely love it. And it's put out loads of new vines on the top this season, as well as growing its existing vines. It just keeps shooting out loads and loads of new growth, and it did actually flower too, but it stopped flowering now, and ideally I'd like it to concentrate a bit more on foliage anyway. But yeah, this one's really cool. I absolutely love it. I have to say it's not really one that I see around a great deal when I go plant shopping, but I do really like it, and yeah, it's a beautiful plant. And following on from that one, I have another Dishidia, and whenever I find a new type of Dishidia, I always love them, so I keep my eyes peeled now. There's one called Watermelon. I really like to get that one. But back to this one. This one's called Dishidia Oriantha Variegata. This one's actually variegated. I think this does come in a green as well, but the leaves are so pretty and they're very thick as well. And yeah, it just comes out with this beautiful variegation. It is a really, really pretty hanging plant, and this is another one that I also keep in my bathroom. I recently moved it there because my other Dishidia was doing so well, so I figured I'll try moving this one in there. Not that this one wasn't doing well, because it was doing just fine, but I just thought I'll move this one in there too and see if it also enjoys the conditions in there, and it seems to. So yeah, it's still growing at the moment, so that's a plus, because many of my plants have stopped due to it obviously being autumn winter here in the UK, but some of them do carry on kind of into autumn a little bit more than others. And yeah, I'm definitely a fan of plants that carry on growing for a bit longer, because it means we can kind of squeeze a little bit more out of the growing season. But if you do find this one, it's a really, really easy care plant, low maintenance. I was actually quite surprised at how thin the roots were when I repotted it, but it seemed to recover from its repot fine, and I may try propagating this one next year as well, just to see how well it propagates. I've got a feeling it'll probably propagate pretty easily. But yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have this plant. Let me know in the comments if you do. I always love to hear which plants you guys have at home as well. I have to give a mention to Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue. This makes a brilliant trailing plant, and of course we all know you can grow it up something, but as a trailing plant the leaves will stay juvenile like this, but it grows just as fast in my experience if you don't give it something to climb. And this one's grown from just a few wet sticks, and once the wet sticks had taken and they'd rooted, it started growing really, really fast. So definitely consider this one as a trailing plant as well as a climbing plant. I know a lot of people like to have this as a climbing plant because that's how you get the fenestrations in the leaves, but I personally think that the plant is just as beautiful in its juvenile form as a trailing plant. So definitely don't be afraid to try this out as a trailing plant, because it really is pretty, and if you give it plenty of bright and direct light, it grows so fast. And I love fast growing plants, and I know a lot of you guys do too. Next we have a Hoya that I am absolutely obsessed with. This is Hoya carnosa freckles, and I just love the glossiness of the leaves on this one. It's such a pretty plant. It's really beautiful, and it's worked out to be a really fast grower for me as well, which is really good. And I just love the kind of splashing you get on the leaves. On some of them you get it a little bit more than others, but it's so pretty. I just absolutely love this one, and I'm so excited to see how big it gets next year. I bought this pretty much near to the end of the growing season this year, so I think next year it will be exciting to see how much bigger it gets, but I just absolutely love this plant. It's so beautiful and really easy care as well. It's still growing at the moment as well, and I don't know how long that will continue for, but it's one of very few Hoyas that are still putting out leaves. So I think this is a pretty common variety, so you should be able to find it pretty easily. But I mean, I've never really seen it here in the UK until I came across it, but it could be different in other areas of the world. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments whether it's easy to get hold of where you are, because it really varies a lot depending on where in the world we are. But I would say this was one of my favourite Hoyas at the moment, and it really is beautiful. I just love the shininess, the waxiness of the leaves, and so many new little baby leaves still coming out. It just doesn't want to stop growing. And that is what we want, isn't it? A plant that just won't stop growing. That's what we like. This next one is called Rhipsalis bolivianum. Not only is this one of my favourite trailing plants, but it's also one of my favourite plants just in general. It's another one that's just so easy to care for, and it grows so well. It's a really fast grower, and even though it's a cactus, it's a jungle cactus, and they tend to grow a lot faster than desert cactuses. So I found this one to be super low maintenance, really easy to care for, and it's so jungly as well. I know that might sound a bit silly, but it's one of those really jungly plants, and it just gives that jungle feel, and eventually it starts growing tendrils out of tendrils, and it just gets really messy, and I really like that about a plant. I like a plant that gets a bit wild and messy and just goes crazy. But yeah, it always reminds me of a funky hairdo, and I did repot this one this year too, and it seemed to repot just fine. I'm always a little bit worried after a repot because certain plants can be quite sensitive, can't they? And it has happened to me a few times where a plant will perish after a repot for one reason or another, but this one, it took really well to its repot, and I love it. I hope it never perishes. If ever I do get any problems with this one in the future, I would definitely want to propagate it to continue it, because it's one of those plants that I definitely can think would always be part of my collection. You know, you get those special plants that you like a bit more than the others, but don't tell the other plants, of course, but this is one of those plants. It's one of those ones that I do like a bit more than the others, so it's top of my favourites list. Hopefully the other plants aren't listening. They will probably throw a strop now and end up getting spider mites or something, but yeah, Rhipsalis bolivianum, definitely get your hands on one of these if you fancy it. As I said before, they are also really easy to care for too, and really fast growing as well. This cute little guy is a peperomia string of turtles, also known as Peperomia prostrata, and I probably go on about this one a little bit too much, but I just absolutely love it. It's the cutest plant ever, and what's not to love about those little turtles? For me so far, it hasn't actually been a difficult plant. It's been quite easy, and I think one of the keys to keeping peperomias alive is making sure that they dry out in between waterings, because I think a lot of the problems we have with them, at least a lot of the problems that I used to have with my peperomias, kind of came down to overwatering, and once I stopped overwatering, everything was fine. So I do let my peperomias dry out all the way before I water them. Same goes for this guy, and they seem to be okay with that. This one's quite a delicate plant, so it can kind of fall to bits easily, but luckily there are so many turtles that it kind of doesn't really matter if you lose a few. But I'd say it's a fairly fast grower too, and I'm definitely looking forward to having my second growing season with this one next year. I don't know if the turtles get bigger. I guess they probably do get bigger because this is just a little tot that I've got here, but I guess the turtles do get a bit bigger, but I don't know how much bigger they get, so that will be interesting. But yeah, I really like this one, so definitely let me know in the comments which of these plants are your favourites, or which aren't your favourites. You might absolutely hate some of the plants I have on this list, which is fine. Feel free to voice your opinion in the comments. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.